Okay, so I'm going to just sketch back in gently the rough position of that cloud there. I'm positioning it up against that nice little piece of dark cloud there, so a nice bit of contrast and far enough apart. Now I'm going to go in with a clean fan brush here, not the part of white with the linseed oil in it. I'm going to go for thick, heavy white, and I'm going to go backwards and forwards through this titanium white with my brush and really load the brush. Is that enough? No, I think we'll put a bit more on there. So really get that brush nicely loaded up, plenty of paint on there. And remember, the word cloud begins with the word C. So we're going to do a little letter C. And I'm just painting out that little suggested mark I put on there. So little bits of paint, and it's a very touch and go sort of C. So a little letter C shape. And I'm going from right to left here. So I'm leading the brush across the canvas, dropping in those little C shapes. And don't feel too restricted. If you want to go offline a bit, that's absolutely fine. It's only really just a suggestion of where the cloud will live. Now, I'm going to try going the other way. So I'm going to push my brush up and across the canvas. So I'm pushing my brush rather than leading it, and see what happens as we go. Well, after a few moments, that lovely fluffy edge is gone, hasn't it? Look at that. Ooh. Now my poor old brush is complaining. It's saying, don't do that. So I'm going to go back the other way now and see what happens. Immediately I can lay on a lovely thick band of white. Smashing, that's what we're looking for. Now, I've left a little bit of gap between these clouds, so there's enough room to play. But if they were too close, I might have just taken that bottom one away. It's no good putting on clouds all stacked on top of each other, because we're going to blend them out a bit. So I've got a second fan brush here, another clean brush, and see what I'm going to do. I'm just going to really blend that bottom edge a little bit. Now you're working up and down into the cloud, so you're going up close to the lovely silver line in the very top edge, and you're just sort of blending out that bottom edge. So up close to the edge, and then carry that paint down and let it pick up some of the grey shadow colour underneath. So you're developing a cloud with a nice sort of bright top to it and a nice shadow at the base. Same on this one. And you see I'm using just the corner of my fan brush. There's no paint on it. It's just going dry. And I'm just literally going to tap out the base of that cloud. Really make it look lovely and sort of blend it all in. And any bits of the line you put in there that you didn't use, well, you can lose that at the same time, so you can just blend that out. And here would be an opportunity, if you wanted to link the two clouds up, you could take one and link it into another, or if you have one big cloud, you could break them in half by just blending out part of the cloud. So clouds are very free and they're nice to paint. Just have fun with them. Now the final step on these clouds is just to really smooth the paint down. So I've got a lovely clean, dry, soft 1-inch brush, and this is so gentle. I can't tell you how gentle I am with this. The paint wants to slip and slide, and you can see I'm going to hit the cloud a bit too hard in a second. It makes a bit of a smear. Whoops, there we go. And I can come across at another angle. See, I'm going across now, so that gets rid of my little oopsie. Those little streaks there would disappear as well. Now, obviously, it's a good idea not to put a cloud where you're going to put a mountain. So maybe sketching on the position of the mountain, yep, don't want to put a cloud there, but we can put a nice cloud up here, and again we've got a lovely shadow to play against. Once more, load the corner of the fan brush with lots of white paint. As the old saying, no paint, no painting, so get plenty on there. And how do we paint a cloud? What letter? Letter C. Well, this is a back to front C, isn't it? So it's sort of C going in the other direction. Now I'm going against the grain here. I'm pushing my brush across the canvas, but there's so much paint on my brush, it still leaves a nice white edge. And of course, don't forget the bottom of that cloud needs a bit of paint as well. And there's nothing to say you've got to just stick to a line. So maybe after you've had a few practice run-throughs with clouds, you can do this. Get a little bit sort of freehand with it, loose and airy, just crisscross them in, no particular shape, so you're not working to a particular pattern. You're just letting the brush run and jump and skip and just have fun. And sometimes they're the nicest clouds, the ones that you really don't try too hard to do, and you just work nice and free and with a bit of speed. Once again, back to my dry brush, clean and dry. I'm going to just go in and sort of break up some of those heavy blocks of paint and just be gentle with this. Be very light and loose and airy. No need to labour clouds. They should be really soft. Now, I don't like the top edge of this cloud too much. It looks a little bit too sort of formal and a bit sharp, so I'm deliberately going to destroy it with my fan brush. I'm going to expand the cloud and I'm going to go off the top of the canvas. Now, it's just out of the shot here. I didn't frame that very well, did I? But I've moved my canvas down now so you can see what I'm doing. I'm deliberately taking my paint off the top of the canvas. So that top edge, unlike the ones on the right that are quite formal looking and quite sort of rigid edges, these ones are going to be much looser and broken, a much sort of freer looking cloud. And just notice how much I move my brush around. I don't sit in one place blending too many seconds. I really am a bit like a butterfly. I dip in, do a few dabs, then move away. And finally, that big 1-inch brush, but so gentle, barely touching this time and just barely clipping the paint. All I really want to do is just to smooth down any thick lumps of paint and just to lightly stroke the clouds in from both directions, and you'll be painting super fluffy clouds in no time. So here we have formal, and over there fluffy clouds.